The Diary of Moko the Capybara, 15th May 2025. Dear Diary, today, I'm feeling especially reflective while lounging in my favorite mud pool at the wildlife sanctuary. The humans brought in a new volunteer last week who has been reading stories to us animals during rest time. Yesterday, she shared the most fascinating tale about a brave wildlife protector named Charlotte. I was so moved by it that I asked my human friend, who somehow understands my squeaks, to write it down so I wouldn't forget. As the largest and wisest rodent in this sanctuary, I believe important stories should be preserved. So here it is, just as I remember it. She was born and raised in Oregon, USA. From an early age, Charlotte showed an extraordinary interest in wildlife. After graduating from university, she received an offer to work at the Portland Zoo. There, Charlotte took care of many different species of animals, including endangered ones. Years of working at the zoo helped her gain invaluable experience and deep knowledge about wildlife. After 3 years, an inner call for adventure prompted her to leave her homeland. Charlotte decided to move to India to join the Corbett Reserve in the state of Uttarakhand. Here, she hoped to fully dedicate herself to wildlife protection. During her first days at Corbett Reserve, Charlotte had to get used to the monsoon climate. The daytime heat gave way to cool evenings and humid nights. But she always maintained optimism and wasn't afraid of difficulties. Charlotte's daily duties included patrolling the territory, tracking animals, and preventing poaching. Thanks to her sociable character, she quickly found common ground with local colleagues. People valued her for her dedication and courage. In her free time, Charlotte often explored the reserve, observing the habits of tigers, elephants, leopards, and other inhabitants. She carefully documented all her observations in a field journal. Her 3 years of experience at the Portland Zoo became a solid foundation for solving any arising problems. The months flew by, and Charlotte completely adapted to her new environment. She confidently drove a Jeep, overcoming difficult sections of jungle and forest trails. Usually, she patrolled with a partner to ensure safety, but one morning, her partner unexpectedly fell ill. Patrolling couldn't be postponed, so Charlotte decided to go alone. She took enough water, food, and necessary protective equipment. The weather that day was particularly hot, the sun mercilessly beating down through the tree canopy. However, her determination and love for animals gave her strength. Charlotte was confident that this solo patrol would go as usual. Her Jeep slowly moved through the dense vegetation, leaving a barely visible trail behind. Along the way, she recorded deer tracks and carefully looked out for signs of tigers. Suddenly, she noticed a suspicious truck parked near thick bushes. Her heart beat faster. Charlotte sensed that something was wrong. She slowed down, stopped the car, and took out binoculars for observation. The truck looked new, without visible license plates. Charlotte decided to approach and signaled the driver to stop. At first, the truck continued to move slowly, as if ignoring her. But a determined look and firm gesture made it stop just a meter away from her. Charlotte politely but firmly asked permission to check the trunk. The 2 men in the cabin nodded silently, hardly saying a word. When she opened the truck's cargo area, what she saw stunned her. A tiger cub was tightly bound and immobilized. She instantly realized she was facing poachers. Just as Charlotte was about to rush to her vehicle for a weapon, the 2 men quickly grabbed her. They demanded silence and no resistance. Then they dragged her to a large tree, tightly binding her hands with rope. Charlotte warned them that they wouldn't escape punishment under the law. The poachers ignored the warning, quickly started the engine, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Left alone under the scorching sun, Charlotte tried to free herself. But the rope was too strong, leaving red marks on her wrists. Her throat was parched, and her body was covered in sweat. The midday heat almost drained her strength. Charlotte began to slip into a semi-conscious state. The outlines of the jungle before her eyes became blurry. Suddenly, a rumble sounded from behind. The sound approached, forcing her back to consciousness. She opened her eyes and saw with horror an approaching elephant. Charlotte's heart was racing, fear gripping every cell of her body. The huge elephant came up to her, examining her closely. Then it began to carefully touch, with its trunk, the rope binding her hands. Charlotte froze in fear, but at the same time realized there was no aggression in its actions. She looked carefully at the mark on the elephant's ear and suddenly remembered. This was the same baby elephant she had treated a year ago after an injury from poachers. The elephant continued to fiddle with the rope. Finally, the bonds loosened and tore. Charlotte jerked her hands sharply, freeing herself from the rope. She almost cried with happiness and gratefully stroked the elephant's trunk. The elephant made a quiet trumpeting sound, as if responding to her gratitude. Thanks to this amazing moment, Charlotte realized that kindness returns in unexpected ways. Not forgetting her mission, she immediately headed to her Jeep. Climbing into the car with trembling hands, she turned on the radio to contact headquarters. Charlotte reported the incident and the kidnapped tiger cub to the Nature Conservation Center and local police. Immediately, a police team was mobilized to catch the poachers. Charlotte also coordinated actions with colleagues, following the truck's tracks. After about 2 hours, they discovered the suspicious truck crossing the reserve's border. The poachers were rushing to leave the protected area, but the authorities quickly blocked the vehicle and arrested the criminals. The tiger cub was successfully rescued, frightened but without serious injuries. The center's veterinarians examined the animal and confirmed it could fully recover. Charlotte and her colleagues couldn't contain their joy seeing the tiger cub safe. They returned it to its natural habitat in the Corbett Reserve. The poachers were taken to the police station and charged with illegal hunting and transportation of rare animals. Charlotte said goodbye to the police, grateful for their timely intervention. Her colleagues returned to their daily duties, and she headed to headquarters to complete her report. Despite her fatigue, Charlotte couldn't hold back a smile, remembering how she was saved by the elephant. She mentally thanked fate for the opportunity to meet and help such amazing creatures. After finishing work, Charlotte returned to her small house on the edge of the reserve, where she temporarily lived. Turning on soft music, she tried to relax and reflect on the intense events of the day. Before sleep, Charlotte gratefully thought about how strange and happy this day had turned out. She smiled, believing that tomorrow she would bravely continue her path as a wildlife protector. This story touched my capybara heart deeply. We animals never forget kindness, just like that elephant didn't forget Charlotte. I think about this often as I watch the humans who care for us at the sanctuary. My caretaker Maria reminds me of Charlotte, always gentle but brave when needed. Last week, she stopped some visitors from trying to feed me strange food that could have made me sick. The sun is setting now, and the other capybaras are calling me for our evening swim. Tomorrow, I hope the volunteer brings another story. Until then, I'll dream of jungles and brave humans who protect creatures like us. With whiskers twitching in contentment, Moko,